amici di Comicus, siamo al Napoli Comicon e grazie a Panini Comics abbiamo la possibilità di intervistare un grandissimo scrittore, Deniz Camp. Hello Deniz.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about
You
yourself?
have
I have
already,
my own.
yes.
Don't worry.
Ok, se sentite un rumore di sottofondo non sono le cascate del Niagara, siamo vicini a una
Ah,
fontana,
it's
però speriamo che si riesca a sentire bene.
It's mood music. Come on, yeah.
Stan Lee used to say that Marvel Comics show the world outside of the window.
Yeah.
But, however, we are very surprised about the explicit political message on your Ultimates. So, the question is, have you had any problem to get the approval from Marvel Comics?
It's funny that you asked that because everybody wonders that and everybody says, how did that happen? I've never had any pushback from almost anything about the political stuff that I put in the book. I think everyone's been very supportive. From the very first pitch, I described it as pretty political. I just think it's impossible to make art that's not political now anyway. So yes, my politics are maybe to the left of what people are used to in the United States, but a growing number of people, are sick of the system, and that's why it's resonated so well. So no, but the people at Marvel have been very supportive, and I'm every issue, to be honest with you, that I put out, I expected them to be like, you can't do that, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And every time they go, great, let's keep going. Really minimal notes. That's the beauty of the Ultimate Universe.
Yes,
And also Will Moss, who's the editor of the Ultimate Universe, is one of the best editors in comics, and he really lets us have our freedom. Everybody do their own thing, and that's why Peach's book, X-Men, is nothing like my book, is nothing like John's book, Spider-Man is nothing like Wolverine, etc.
Deniz, excluding Children of the Vault, your first book for Marvel, you are writing series set in alternative universe, Absolute Universe for DC and Ultimate for Marvel. Do you think in the future you will work on the classical icons of the big two, or you prefer alternative universes because they give you more freedom?
I love the alternative universes for giving me more freedom. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't an intentional choice on my part. It's just what was offered to me. I got an email saying, do you want to write the Ultimates? I said, yes. And then same thing with Martian Manhunter. It was what was offered, or not Martian Manhunter, but something in the Absolute Universe. My next book at DC will be in continuity in the main universe. So I'm definitely not opposed to it. It's just different. It requires different things of you. It's a different set of skills. There's a lot of, but it's all storytelling. So I love doing all of it, and every new challenge is interesting to me. Most new challenges are interesting to me. And so I'm excited about it.
In our opinion, Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter, is one of the best series of 2025, and honestly, also in 2026.
Thank you so much.
But compared to the rest of the Absolute Universe, there are some differences. The superhero aspects are not so evident. So, in our opinion, it's more a psychological thriller.
Yes.
Okay, but the question is, if these characteristics were the original characteristics, or maybe did you change the characteristics later? And considering the amazing art of Javi Rodriguez, maybe this change come from Javi. Just for giving you an example, the smoke of the cigarettes or the smokes in general are almost a character of the story.
Yeah.
Did you add immediately this idea, or maybe talking with Javi?
No, the thought smoke was the smoke being a metaphor and an active thing was my idea. One, because in comic books traditionally, thought smoke is how you represent thoughts, and then so I thought it worked in that way. And then Martian has this connection to fire, a weakness to fire. So that was in the pitch. That was very much in the pitch. However, the way that it's multicolored, the way that it acts, the way that it is so alive, that's all Javi.
Okay.
And So yes, so it's you see it's and that's the way of everything in the book is like, you know, I propose something, he makes it much better. He proposes something, I try to respond to it in some way that enhances it or you know makes it work. So it's a real collaborative effort, and you know everything I put out he improves, and I try my best to everything that he changes. I know that he changes for the right reasons, and so I try to respond to that as best I can. But you know, really, the whole experience has been wonderful for me to learn from him. I get to learn so much about comics from him. He randomly says like things that seem simple to him they blow my mind, and that's been such a pleasure to experience that on the book.
Okay.
The original Ultimate series is a great classic of the new millennium, but meanwhile the world has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Is this the reason why your take on Ultimates is so different? And in what is different from the Miller-H take?
Yeah, that's exactly why. I looked, when I was offered the job, I decided I wanted to stay true to the spirit of what Mark and Brian had done on the Ultimates. And what they did was they looked at the Marvel superhero icons and they said, okay, what does a superhero look like today? And that was a post 9/11 time, and so it was very much a time of American imperialism, American military-industrial complex strength, and very kind of arrogant American arrogance. And so you know what they did was take that and they made the Avengers that. That time is over. They made the Avengers kind of terrorist fighters, right? That time is over. Things have changed a lot. I'm a different writer, obviously, from Mark, but my perspective on what the world is like now, you know, those types of people are, and of course, what he was doing was largely satire, or at least partially satire. But I wanted to be more earnest. I wanted to look and see, well, what does a superhero look like, or what does a hero look like in the 2020s? And for me, you know, heroes they're people who are usually oppressed by they come out of an oppression from whether it's the state or capital or what have you, and they're part of movements. They're not these incredible individuals. They arise from movements. They arise out of people, out of you know, or they build movements, or they help build movements. And not just recently, but when you look at history, I think that's true. So there's a bit of in my version, there's a bit of a refutation of the great man of history. One person can change everything. In terms of how they're different from each other, the succinct way I say it is in Mark's Ultimates, the superheroes are hunting terrorists. In my Ultimate, or in our Ultimates, the superheroes are the terrorists.
Yeah. Panini is presenting in this show this book, and honestly, we had no time for reading assorted crisis events. Can you introduce by yourself the book?
Yeah, it's in one sentence. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths if it was happening to normal everyday people, or Black Mirror if time and space were breaking down. It's an anthology, so every issue is a complete story with new characters facing this time crisis, which is just time is breaking down. And how that manifests is different in every issue. So one issue might be a girl gets stuck in a time loop of 60 seconds, but for millions of years. And then suddenly she's spit out and she has to readjust to life. And the pages are all loops. So there's all the storytelling is reflecting what's happening to the characters and trying to make you feel what the characters are feeling. Or another one is a character is speeding through life. It seems that life is going by like this, like this, like this. And so the way that we do the storytelling hopefully tries to replicate that feeling with quick cuts from one scene to the next. So every issue is kind of a different person dealing with some manifestation of the crisis, but of course they're all metaphors for the things that we're dealing with, that me and my friends are all dealing with right now.
As you can see, Dennis, I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I'm a big fan of your take on Reed Richards, that in the new Ultimate Universe is Ultimate Doom. I think he's the more human and dramatic character of your series, with all his pain, the sufferances for his missing opportunities. He tries to turn back time. He's very, very human.
Yeah.
I love this characterization. I want to ask you why this characterization of Reed Richards.
Well, I mean, John Hickman is the one who created the idea of Reed Richards as Doom, who was kind of this tortured figure by the maker, who hates himself so much that he tortured his own self for who knows how long. And so I just wanted to run with that, and he became, for me, there's this beautiful tragedy in the character of all that he's missing and all that he should be, and that's really the theme of the whole universe that John set, is that he was trying to, I think, distill this feeling that a lot of people from my generation have, which is that the world should be better than it is, that we were promised a brighter, better future, and that I grew up thinking that every generation would be healthier and happier and more just than the last, and a lot of people in the West anyway felt that way, and that has not come to pass. I don't think that's come to pass at all. I think many people are much worse off now than they were before. The general feeling is that something was taken from us, and Doom is the ultimate. I mean, everybody in the Ultimates has that, but Doom is the ultimate version of that. He's literally haunted by the ghosts of the things that he never, was. The Fantastic Four that he never became, and not only was it all taken from him individually, but then he was tortured forever, and even the part of himself that loved that scientific discovery was cut out of him. So everything was taken from him, and yet, despite all that it was taken from him, still we find him heroic. He still saves people. He still cares about people, and I love that. I think I love Reed Richards as a character, but I've really fallen in love with Doom. He's one of my favorite characters to write.
Ultimate Endgame. The style is quite different compared to other series. So there are some elements more similar to Jonathan Hickman comic books.
Yeah.
Then the curiosity is if you discuss the project with him, if you decided to maintain several aspects of his comic book.
It's less that we talked about it briefly. I kind of described my ideas to him, but for the most part, it's just he set up all of these threads that have to be tied off. So I have to deal with the maker in the city, and John created all that stuff. That was from his original Ultimates run, right? And then also in Ultimate Invasion, and then the Kang stuff. Again, all of that I have to do justice to the story, to the universe. I think I have to deal with that. So that's what a lot of Endgame is about. And then whereas the Ultimates is the uprising, the revolution that I've been building towards in my run, which was not at all part of John's plan.
Deniz, any plans for the future that you can anticipate to us? That's something you can talk about?
No. I do have something coming from DC that will be announced probably at San Diego or something like that. I'm very excited about it. It's my next project with Javier Rodriguez after Martian Manhunter, and we're very excited about it. And I've started writing it. He hasn't started. He's still finishing Martian Manhunter, but I hope it's going to be great.
Okay, Deniz, thank you very much.
Hey, Che, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.